Here are all the games releasing this June that you should know about. Subway 3D platforming meets Tony Hawk Trickery Dench Attack is out on the 17th. The teams at Square Enix behind Bravely Default and Octopath Traveler have a new HD 2D game coming out on the 18th called The Adventures of Elliot the Millennium Tales. That is a mouthful, an action RPG almost OG Zelda inspired. One of the original influential RPGs of the early 2000s and one of the first RPGs with fully voiced dialogue, Gothic 1 is getting a faithful remake on the 5th. Fate Keeper, the first person action RPG with some Dark Messiah influence, is releasing into early access on PC on the 2nd. Trying to capture that NBA Street Magic, NBA The Run is releasing on June 9th. The indie team behind Gato Roboto and Gunbrella have a new 2D beat-em-up-esque roguelike called Dark Scrolls, which got pushed out of May to not compete with Mina the Hollower, now releasing on June 22nd. Bullet Time, Akimbo Pistols, Takedowns, and more are what make up the roguelike Killer Bean, which is finally out on the 8th in early access on PC. The follow-up to Astroneer is Starseeker, with a deeper focus on cooperation, expeditions, and exploration. It's releasing into early access on the 11th. Co-op detective horror game Shift at Midnight, where you investigate your customers that may or may not be human, is out on the 17th. Stylistic anime first-person shooter The Last Salvage Squad releases on the 17th on PC. Open world survival crafting game with creature collecting elements Witchspire releases on the 10th. And the new Star Fox, a remake of sorts of Star Fox 64 with a more realistic visual design approach and new cutscenes and content, releases on the Switch 2 on June 25th. And there's a ton of other games releasing this month too, like the roguelike Freefall 95, where you fall from the plane, collect items, do tricks, and repeat. Hobby Horse, a game where you race and customize your own hobby horse, the childhood toy that always freaked me out, is out on the 2nd. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes to the Switch 2 and Xbox Series consoles on the 3rd. Survival crafting game set on top of floating islands Solarpunk is out on the 8th. Team-based Star Wars Monopoly game Monopoly Star Wars vs. Villains is out on the 11th. The sequel to Unrailed, the co-op railroad construction game, is releasing out of early access on the 11th. Hell Let Loose, the 50v50 large war first-person shooter series next game, is out on the 18th, this time set in Vietnam. EA Sports UFC 6 drops on the 19th. Dead or Alive 6 is getting a re-release with new content and characters out on the 25th called Last Round. Arcade soccer game just in time for the World Cup Goals releases on the 4th. Co-op physics platformer Hold Your King releases on the 10th for you and your closest friend to fight over. A co-op game where you and your friends are gnomes breaking in and wreaking havoc across homes, Burglin' Gnomes, is out on the 10th. And last, the self-described co-op extraction puzzle game Frog Squad, where you and up to 8 players gather food for each run for the Frog King and made by former Fall Guys developers, is out on the 11th. But we're also having a ton of showcases this month, so be prepared to see some shadow drops this month too.